wondering if you could tell us first a little bit about non-bias education. What does that mean? How does it work? How did that value come to you?
Well, we were starting to understand that the dominant culture, really dictated a lot about how a child sees themselves or does not see themselves. So to really honor the diversity of our community meant that we had to be very mindful that the practices of our daily rituals were inclusive of everyone. And in order to do that, we had to get to know the families. So we had to just ask a little bit more than who their emergency contacts were and, where they lived and maybe what their mom and dad did for a living. That we, tried to really get to know enough about them to understand what their ethnic or cultural origins were. And so what we were, in order to really make their environment to be as inclusive and of their beautiful difference and embracing the differences of each other, and to stop making assumptions that we're all alike, because we really are not all alike, and that is what makes us beautiful and what makes this world so rich and what makes what it is that we believe in, and it creates passion and conviction, and all of those are very important to who we are as humans. And so we started to examine, what does that mean? So we don't celebrate holidays here because there are children who see that their family doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. It doesn't have any relevance to their family practice, or Halloween. And so what that might say to a child when you spend a whole month doing things about pumpkins and witches and at Halloween time and costuming, for if it's just even one child that can't identify with that practice, it is speaking to them that the dominant culture's view is much greater, and that's the common view, and so therefore that is the one that we value. So we just decided to eliminate all holiday practices, and we celebrate the seasons. So our anti-bias program is really about respect of each other. So we liberate children to say, I have ideas. And they don't all have to agree with each other's ideas, which is a source of contention and conflict. But conflict is a part of the human experience. And so we have a tendency to hurry up because we know what conflict does to our blood pressure, and we want to just resolve it. And we often want to do it for them, and we often want to set the standards and the boundaries of what we think are important about conflict. But really, they have to ruminate in the unrest of conflict to understand how to express what that conflict means to them. And so we sometimes see rough and tumble play turn into something that might have crossed a line, and we will see a little bit of fear in a child's face, and we will mediate and say, are you okay that they are wrestling with you? And if the child says no, then we will say, well, what can you do? How can you let your friend know that you want them to stop? And they have to stop and really own that feeling. Sometimes they'll say, no, I'm okay with it, but their face is saying they're really not sure that they're okay with it, and we do not intervene. And so we kind of let them squirm a little bit so that they know how to advocate for themselves.
I know back in the day, my parents let me fight it out with other
That's
boys.
Right. I'm one of 6. I mean, I can't. My mother could not, but possibly be at all of those places or put out all those fires.
Well, I'm sure we took it well beyond what you could tolerate in your school today. There's something very valuable about learning to self-regulate.
Mm-hmm. We also are a commercial-free and a media-free environment because we also recognize that Disney and Nickelodeon, which we all love and enjoy, and in our own free time we can engage in those experiences as much as we would like. But in an environment where it is intentional learning, We feel it doesn't have a place in our environment, and for two reasons. One is because it really has a tendency to script children's play, because it is so pervasive. Disney is so pervasive in the culture of childhood. And so it scripts their play all of the time. It tells them who they should be and what's the next task in their play, and it's eliminating their own free ideas. And it is also perpetuates really inaccurate stereotypes on race and culture. And so we don't ever say it's not allowed here, but we do encourage that families don't do backpacks and lunch boxes of superheroes and Disney characters just because we really want their ideas to be their own.
That's great too. I love that.
Mm-hmm. And so, so that's a part of our anti-bias program.